Me now.
3, 2.
Happy Wednesday, people. Welcome to the Kris the Critic show with my beautiful, intelligent co-host, Gina B.
Aren't you sweet?
I am sweet.
See,
Gina B, can you turn down one of your 7 cell phones?
I'm trying to keep up with comments, okay?
Listen,
Calm down.
it's beautiful weather outside. We're going to talk about something beautiful as soon as Gina B's phone
I just can't help myself.
goes to mute.
Okay, there we go.
Um,
Sorry.
Today's topic is brought to you by Nikki Turner. If you're listening, thank you. It's a person on Facebook who I
Requested
often
this
got on her
topic?
nerves.
No.
We're now friends. She was so nice, she gave me a topic. So thank you. Also want to shout out, the election's coming up soon. I want to shout out Dominique Ross, who's running for judge in the appellate court. I forgot her picture, but vote on it.
It's right here.
But vote on it. We'll have it next week. Why
Why is
else
this
we
doing
got?
this? This phone keeps going up.
Gina
It's
B's
driving me
about to be
crazy.
fired.
He can't fire me.
Okay, today's show,
There we
we'll
go.
get right into it. And we do have a very special guest. Today's show is How Do You Know If This Is the One? Please let's bring in our special guest, Mr. Producer. Sir, it is the
We
one,
got a good one today.
the only, the host, creator of In the Zone and a couple of other pages,
Nondescript pages.
Mr. Brian Foster. Woo!
Ooh, yay! The
What's going
crowd
on,
goes
y'all?
wild.
What's going
Brian,
on,
thank
y'all?
you, sir, for joining the show.
Hey.
Thank you for having me.
We're so
Chantel, kiss
happy.
my ass. I get to be on too.
Ah. Ooh, ooh. Okay.
You've not only been on, Brian has actually replaced the critic. So I think very highly of
Yes,
today's
that's
guest.
right.
Many of you are going to get some sound information.
We
So,
trade off shows around here.
That's right.
audience members, if you're listening, show of hands if you've done the dating thing before, even if you're married and you've kissed a bunch of frogs. Show of hands. Co-host? Anybody?
Haven't we all kissed frogs?
Not me.
I have.
All my ladies was top notch.
Well, any of them that didn't work out. I mean,
Yeah.
because
I mean, one
Oh,
man's
shit.
trash is another man's treasure. Okay.
So before you know if someone is the one,
right.
you need to find out, what you value or what you don't value or what didn't work. So for the fellas, does the one have to be 10 in the face, 10 in the waist?
50 in the way.
Does she need to cook? Does she have to have superhuman bedroom skills? And will she always agree with you and never argue?
See, you know what? All of it, what you described. I have friends who started off the dating game by describing, she got to be, bam.
But we're going to hold that because the
You
women,
know what I'm about to say.
I want to ask about the women.
They didn't always marry that.
Ladies, does the man have to be over 6 feet, make over 100,000, drive a foreign automobile, a body like Michael B. Jordan, a face like Idris Elba, and a penis that should star in its own movie called Legs Still Shaking?
Well,
Does he have to be all of that? Does that
No.
sound good?
I got 2 of those. I ain't gonna say which ones.
Now,
you're not 6 feet tall?
I ain't 6 feet. So
but whatever your thing is, I want all of you to ask yourself, would that person want me? So,
That's always Chris's platform.
It's a solid platform.
I mean, it is.
It is
we,
what it is.
we always get
now
back
look,
there.
because no one wants an unattractive person. No one wants a broke person. No one wants somebody who sucks in the bedroom.
No, but we're talking about the one.
I got it.
Transcends a lot of
But
that
you got to
sometimes.
know what you don't want. So,
Well, you do.
some of these traits you've gotten in. The point is, you get some of these traits in some people, and you get some in another. And it never seems that there's a person out there who has everything that we've written down on this checklist.
Jennifer, you got to be kidding me. Gainfully employed and willing to retire me. That's all you need, huh, boo? All right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, before that, she
She's
says
got-
he also has got to look good and wear amazing cologne.
She's got goals. There's nothing wrong with that. So,
And
Jenny,
I'm
I'm
sure
gonna let
she'll
you.
add.
I'm gonna let you take it over.
Okay.
You started off with our
Yeah,
special
because
guest.
here's the deal. There are so many people that had these very detailed descriptions of what that person had to be. in order to land them, right? Like, in order to land me, she got to look like this. Or the women will be like, well, I'm not dating a man who's less than X, Y, or Z, right? Mm-hmm. But then you see who they marry, and you're like, I'm not sure that the math was quite the same. And that's why I feel that there is a lot beyond what we're describing. The one transcends some of that stuff, right? So a lot of it's chemistry and how you relate. I mean, there's a lot of things that are, I think, indescribable that create the one, right? What do you think, Mr. Married Man?
Yeah, I think you're both right.
Yeah.
I think there are some things that if you were to ask someone what specifically about their mate makes them so separated them from the pack, they could say a couple of things, and then they'll say, and there were just some things that the way we vibe, these indescribable feelings and connections that just naturally take place. Okay. No matter if you're a garbage man or own a garbage company, right? Like you can't fake that chemistry.
No, and sometimes the calculus doesn't work, where it's not an equation that you can just. Okay, so let's just start with you, since you're a guests first.
Let's do it.
All right. How did you know that you've been married twice?
I have been.
Okay. So let's talk about your wife, your current wife. Mm-hmm. How did you know she was the one?
How did I know she was the one? She made a good wage. No. That was part of it.
She made some damn money. Anyway.
No, to be frank, and I've told this story on my podcast a few times, so I'm not going to go too in detail about it, but I was doing my thing, having fun in these Chicago streets.
What's your thing?
I was a bit of a man whore.
There you go.
And I was having my fun in these Chicago streets, and I think the ladies were having a good time as well. And no, but then she realized just how much I was kind of dipping and dodging, and was like, you know what? I get it, because I was fresh out the divorce, fresh enough. And she said, I know you're in a very long relationship, and I know you're kind of sowing your oats right now, and that's cool, and I get it, and I don't begrudge you that. I'm just not here for that. So no hard feelings. We can still be cool. Yeah, yeah.
It's an art to that.
That's an art to
It's an art to delivering that to a man.
That's right. And we can still be cool, but I'm just going to remove myself from that equation.
Okay.
And you do what you do, and if you decide that maybe you want to be a little bit more serious and I'm still around, cool. Maybe we'll re-engage. If not.
Now, was she offering to be your friend?
She said we could be cool. She wasn't saying let's hang out and do dinner and stuff. It was like, no, we'll still, if I see you, hey, you know. And I was like, in the moment, I said, well, this is awesome. Cool. You took that like a champ.
Right.
And I left, and I got to my car, and I was like, damn.
Were you crying?
Inside. A karate man crowd inside.
Did you start calling girls up?
And I started calling and letting the roster go.
Are you sure you
and
people
started
to my wife? Did my wife have this conversation? What's your
It went down the same way. And I said, and so long story short, in my head, I said, 10 of them or her. I'll take her.
You can stack up 10 pennies, or you could have a dime.
Wait a minute, ladies.
Yeah.
So you got to find how to stand out between the 10 dudes that your friend is dating. I'm just saying. Men too, because it goes both ways, right?
It
goes both ways.
Yeah, but she's obviously a special to me. She's super special. The way we're related, the way we connected. She looked great. She was just graduated medical.
Yeah, I see a future.
So there's a future there.
She got a future behind her
and in front of her. That's right.
Smart man, people. Smart man.
She had just gotten,
well played,
started her residency or graduated from residency. So, it was, so she clearly had a great head on her shoulder. We had a lot of connections. We both went to U of I, different times, but knew a lot of the same people. She was in my sister's sorority. Like, all these things just kind of added up.
Okay.
But just the way she loved me was unique.
So so let's get at the root of it. So the way she loved you was unique, and also she withdrew because she had too much self-respect to be in the lineup. And so that was attractive to you as well, I'm assuming.
It was. Okay. I like yes, let's word it that way. She was cool with like us dating, but when she realized how much I was dating and how many other people were like, she was like, how many times did you change your sheets before I came over?
Wow.
That's a little...
Well, hopefully you've changed the sheets.
She didn't show up with the blue light, did she?
Good Lord, I hope not. Looked like Jackson Pollock. Yeah, but so having that self-respect for self and saying, hey, I'm not going to be part of a rotation. That's not really what I'm down. But not in a aggressive, you ain't shit way. Just in a, that's cool, that's what you're doing. I'm just not going to be part of it.
Right. That's dope.
Oh, go ahead. No, I was going to ask you to answer for the women.
Oh, okay.
Because you are nearing the finish line.
I am.
Of being off the market. I mean, between your prior Instagram career.
Yes.
And she was an Instagram model.
Oh, I've seen the pictures.
Tell me what you.
I thought I graced those.
But you've done some dating before you found
the
one.
Screenshot them before.
So for the fellas out there, what differentiated this man from? Because you're a smart, successful, good-looking woman. What made you say, you know what? I'm done fielding offers.
You know, it's interesting. So I've answered this question a few times, and it isn't. You know, I always say that it's nice if your significant other, if you find them attractive, but that'll fade away later, right? So what I liked about him was that, first of all, he was really interested in spending time with me, right? Like, and I
like who likes me.
He never, but
like
he never.
To you?
Like no. No, I mean, he never.
There've been women.
I never had to wait for him to call me. He always did what he said he was going to do.
Consistency.
There was
genuine
never
interest.
a question of where he wanted to be.
Okay.
Because if he could be with me, he was with me.
He was with you.
And it was not. I never had to worry about that. There's nothing I ever wondered about. I never felt the need. I've never had the conversation of where we're going anyway. But I never even felt like I wanted to have that conversation.
Actions backs up words.
And then once we started dating a little more, I was looking for some qualities, right?
Okay.
And I liked that he was very resilient. He handled his business. He was very focused on what he wanted to do. Was very deliberate. And I liked all of those qualities. And then it got to a place where I just felt very comfortable. Like, I never got sick of him because we were joined at the hip kind of pretty hard for like the first couple months, like always together. And I never got sick of him. Like anybody else, I'd be like, can you take your ass home? But, and he would check in. Are you sick of me yet? No. Let's, keep hanging out. So that was cool too. And then I realized I could just say anything to him. Like, not anything like, but like anything that came to my mind, I could say it without fear of anything, really. So that was how it sort of all formulated.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. All good stuff.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
There's another piece I did leave out of my...
And he's 6'2". Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, tall ass. Tall, curly head ass. One thing I did leave out of my piece, and I'll send it back to you, Kris. I had 2 small children when we met. And she accepted not only that I had them, but accepted them. And loved them wholeheartedly from the jump. And that meant the world to me as well. So I didn't want to leave that piece out.
That's cool, but it probably helped that you did not have an adversarial relationship with your ex.
Not at all.
Yeah, so that helps too.
Yeah.
Like if you have an adversarial relationship with your ex, then that will translate into the relationship, and that will alter things a little bit.
My ex-wife, when she met my wife for the first time, my girlfriend, actually we weren't even girlfriend boyfriend, we were just dating. She met her and she was like, yes, she's brown skinned, because she just knew I was gonna marry some little light skinned curly hair girl. But she's beautiful, she's brown skinned, I love her.
No, wait, let's go back one more. So did the feeling that you had that she was the one that differ from the first time that you?
Completely different, because I was a mere child when we got together. I was 16. And you kind of one of them. I like who likes me when you're that young. Like, you like me, I like you too.
That's half the battle.
I'll take it.
Yeah, right. I mean, she was great. She was pretty and all that. A year older than me. I was a junior. She was a senior. That was a big deal back then. Blah 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 blah. But the things you're looking for when you're 16,
right,
and when you're 36 are
just totally different.
Yeah.
But
the feeling, that feeling of safety, the feeling of camaraderie, that feeling of connection. That was still the same, just in a 16-year-old way and a 36-year-old way.
Okay. Man, well, you grow and evolve. For people who just joined, like Karen Allen, who doesn't know the topic is, how do you know
the title should be up.
He or she is the one? I don't think it is. And Kris, you are the host of the show, so therefore it's your turn.
Oh, I'm having issues. I was trying to check out some questions.
Oh, okay. Well, should we just continue?
No, you just look at the questions. I'll go ahead.
Oh.
I'll just run through some questions.
I just answered one of the questions, but go ahead.
So, for those who are just joining, how do you know you found the one? All of us have met a bunch of people who've had some qualities, not all good in some areas, not others. So we're sort of sifting through that. And I have our guest on here is, Gina B is the normal co-host. And we got Brian Foster in here for those who are just joining. Brian is on his second marriage. So we were asking him how he knew.
Final.
Now, what I heard loud and clear he married a winner, right? So fellas, if you're out there, ladies, if you're out there, you want to marry a winner. One thing I heard loud and clear is you kept your past any baggage down. She wasn't running into a chaotic situation.
No.
And I don't think, and I see this happen a lot with women, because men are aggressive humans. And if they're men who I've seen date women with children. But on the other side of that might be a kid's dad who's still trying to be more than the kid's dad. And a lot of guys will shy away from that if they sniff drama.
Facts.
Right. And women will stay away from that.
Absolutely.
If you sniff it.
But it's a little easier for a man because he's a man to stop. You ain't. A woman doesn't have to worry, some chick just running past the dude and jumping.
Well, no, but like if you are with somebody who has kids, and the baby mama's still, either causing problems or trying to, get back in.
Even to Chris's point though, sans the violence.
It happens.
When let's just be frank, most of the time moms have the kids more often.
Right.
So not only do you have to jump that hurdle of when can I even see you, you're raising your kids,
right.
But if you have a dad that's a part of the life, even worse, if he's barely a part of the kid's life but still trying to get back into mama's life,
right?
That's a lot messier to deal with.
A lot going on.
Yeah, that's a lot going on.
Sometimes that happens, and that's why I'm telling guys out there: if you're sifting through, this is one area, and the women too. This is an area where if that drama's there, that better be a special type of love. But I'm gonna say pass. That's not the one.
Yeah.
Critic is here to save you some time.
I won't say that, fellas. I won't rule them immediately.
Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater.
That's right.
If a man or woman wants to really be with you, they're going to do what they need to do to settle that situation.
Right.
They can shield you as much as they can, but if he acting crazy, it's
is that the one then?
Well, he's not the one. That doesn't make her not the one.
Right.
Your tolerance level just has to be at a level. I'm not doing it,
right?
But
if she's the one, then your tolerance level has to be high enough to deal with the fact that she's got cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in her life.
If you see that you're one, your fish on the hook ran away because it's possible they will leave because of that noise.
No,
that's
absolutely.
all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have the tolerance.
Let's talk about
I don't.
I'm trying to manage people's expectations because a lot of times when we date. I used to start off at Rihanna and Beyonce level, and for whatever reason, they would pass me by. I don't know. Maybe I didn't have Jay-Z's money or whatever.
Well, we had this conversation earlier, Chris.
Yeah. So managing your expectations is part of it.
Ask that off air.
But what about I like to marry. I married somebody who I felt was, and I'm saying opposites attract, but equally yoked, right? Mm-hmm. Similar social status,
right?
I couldn't marry. I don't care how fine she was. Super ghetto. I just couldn't. I don't want to get shot up at the family reunion, beat up by her cousins.
Your lifestyles aren't the same.
I can't stand a combative ass, loud ass person because every relationship goes through some issues, and some people that's how they're used to dealing with conflict.
But that relationship that wouldn't get off the ground. Period.
But it does get off the ground for people. People make exceptions for things they think they want. There's a woman out there who will make an exception for a guy who may look good on paper, make a bunch of money, buy her stuff, but maybe he's abusive. People have made exceptions to where they think they need to be. Men do the same thing.
Yes.
How many athletes or professionals and then all of a sudden, man, the girl looks cute, but she has the personality of a housewife of some state that they haven't started on TV, just in case you all are related to somebody, to the Atlanta chicks. They're all bubbleheads. Whatever. Fuck. Come get me. Chicago, y'all know what that ass.
We know what's up. I agree. I mean, it's just that it's kind of an interesting topic, though, because you have to choose somebody whose lifestyle aligns with yours, and who, like we discussed this on a show a couple weeks ago about how you have to jive that way. So I can't. There are people who are fun to have sex with,
but don't we always want the opposite?
Not always.
Don't you see? I don't know. I see men that aren't.
No.
They necessarily have the best jobs or the best money or even look the best, but they expect to have this super fine woman, and then I see women who don't necessarily look the best, or they don't have that much money, but they expect to have a guy with a whole bunch of paper. I just see people want the opposite. It goes both ways.
I don't know that they think that's opposite though.
Right.
Because they
think that's the one.
Well, they think it's the one.
I don't think they're realistic about themselves.
But they're not.
There we go. That's where we're going.
You gotta turn that mirror around and be like, oh.
That's where we're going.
Where's the dude that makes $20 an hour?
So do you all think that's why people are missing each other?
Because I make 15 every other hour.
Do you all think that's why people are missing each other? Because, I mean, we talk about how do you...
There's a lack of realism.
I know so many people that are dating different people. They're dating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I see fewer connections, and I see more frustration on both parts. And we're just trying to discuss why.
How old are these people?
People our age. I don't know. Late 30s to late 40s.
Yeah.
I think that. Yeah. We're gentle there. I think that plays a part in it, Chris.
Okay.
On several levels. Tahani, what's up, girl? I don't know if you're watching your crazy ass, but she did ask a pretty good question earlier today.
I was impressed with
pretty good question about why we're finding it so much more difficult in our later years,
right?
Than our earlier years to find love.
Sure.
And I think, and you had a really dope answer, and I think it really speaks to, one, people are more. When I was in my late 20s, early 30s, it seemed like I was going to a wedding every fucking weekend.
Of course,
right? Yeah, because that's marrying time, right?
Yeah.
So now people are either A, married, B, divorced, and like, screw that, or C, so kind of set in their ways.
They're
about
in life.
certain things.
Like,
they're just
is
moving.
happening.
Yeah, and now maybe not worried about even getting married.
They're just like, whatever.
So I think age has a factor to do with that. But you said something earlier too I wanted to touch on about folks not being equally yoked or maybe dating the opposites.
Right.
I think what happens is, and I've seen a couple of my fellas fall victim to this. They see a girl, she's working at Walgreens. She fine.
She fine.
She got a big look. Hey, she filling out them dickies, my guy. So you go, you're asking about blah blah. You don't expect anything,
sure,
right? You just like, oh, this will be fun. I can't take no Walgreens cashier serious.
You're expecting something.
Oh, you're not expecting anything long term.
Right.
But next thing you know, she's actually pretty cool,
right?
And she can cook. And she's actually kind of fun to be around when she's not on some super ghetto shit.
Right.
Which is only about 30% of the time.
Yeah, it's only about 30%, but that's just enough.
But a man will
that's enough for dudes.
Yeah. When I say all the time, men are sort of simple. We will bypass that.
Yeah.
If
you'll show up for that other 30%.
If we think that we can bring her around folks, and she's still that fine, and she's fun and all of that, we will make an exception. Women typically don't. Which is why I asked the question at the beginning of the show. What I am, is that what the object of my desire wants? So that person, he liked that person at Walgreens. Obviously, that person at Walgreens
it appealed to his
liked
organ.
what she saw. Because that's what a big disconnect is. There are a lot of broke dudes out here and dudes with no job that feel that they're supposed to have the baddest chick around because they did in 8th grade. And I'm saying, nah, bro.
Not 8th grade.
Don't work.
Well,
why?
like,
because that chick don't want
the shit is
Hello?
That chick doesn't want the same thing anymore. That woman that you wants a gainfully employed, respectable, dependable, trustworthy man who's making some cash. They can send her kids to private school if they don't get a scholarship.
Well, Jennifer already said earlier. She just wants a man with a good job that can retire.
And cologne.
And some cologne.
So, and we do that, and men, we
Jennifer,
do
we're
that.
not picking on you.
We do that when we're younger, right? I'm a teenager. Girls like guys with cars. I'm getting a part-time job.
You doing whatever
I'm doing whatever I got. I'm never going to say, wait, she better settle for me on my bike. No. That ain't what they want. So I'm going to go be that. And I think when we get older, one of you all said you get stuck in your ways.
Yeah, life happens.
Adults don't want to change. Men want to say, well, I am what I am. I'm just what I want. And women want to say, I am what I am. I know I weigh 240, and in high school I weighed, 120. So what? I got a master's degree.
I do agree.
And then he's thinking, well, I don't, like Foster's example, he didn't go out with that woman in Walgreens because of her master's degree. It's just that they value different things. I think you got to go
strippers
with
a heart of gold.
I'm just saying, you have to date people who are equally yoked. And Yeah, and you got to like who likes you.
I
You
mean,
gotta start
there's
there.
something very attractive about someone who's showing affection for you and knocking themselves out.
Every time I say that to
impress
people,
you.
they, you know what they say? I don't want nobody ugly.
That doesn't.
I don't know why they go
that
right
doesn't
there.
necessarily
Why?
need to
Because
be.
they like you, they got to be ugly.
Right.
The
I'm
only people
like,
you
no.
ugly, they go right there.
They go-
If I say, look,
Is everybody who likes you ugly?
I do this thing.
Then you might want.
I do this circle. There's a circle of people who you like that might be out of your reach, and they sort of deal with you. Even I've over-indexed and maybe slept with a woman that was maybe out of my league. Maybe I just caught on their giving night, right? Then there's a circle of people that might love your dirty draws.
Right.
Always go to those folks, man or woman. Don't pick from that circle ever, because you always guess. Now, when you find somebody that you're in their circle and you pick from that pool, I think that is.
That's a good. But here's the thing: you have to have something to offer, right? And
say it again for the people. in the
have
back.
something. If you want to be attractive to a specific subset of people, have something to offer.
Right.
And that doesn't mean, okay, I'm gonna pay his bills. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about have something about yourself that you work on that is going to be attractive to the person that you're targeting, right? And so then you can maybe watch your subset increase of the people that like you. And then you have a better pool. Because if what you're working with is a pool of just
I just see people out
gutter
here who,
snipe, then that means that, you need to probably increase your...
right. But how many times
Up
do
your
we
game.
see people, men and women, who are just complaining about what's out here? It's like they're always complaining.
Wait a minute. Hey, Phil Strong. Gotta say hi to
Feel strong. What up, boy?
Feel strong in the building.
Woo.
St. Felicitas Beasley.
So
I see.
I just had to give him a shout out.
You
So,
a vibe.
but also, I think people have kind of low expectations in a way.
I think they have.
Of their potential mate or of themselves.
Well,
That's what I was gonna say.
A and B, but here's really what I find interesting. There are men who sometimes they'll meet the one and they'll be surprised at how good a relationship can actually be. Like,
Right.
I never really thought I'd be this happy in a relationship.
know why?
Like,
Because-
they thought all women were like the same.
Because we are used to.
Isn't that
sometimes,
It is interesting.
Yeah.
admittedly, fellas, and not all of us, we don't always date smart because we date more with our eyes. So we've probably gone through more of that, especially a younger man,
Yeah,
right?
particularly young.
A younger man, I used to put up, if she was finer than fine, I would put up more than what I would now.
Yeah.
And it's a learning thing. So that's pretty much happens when you're young. But what's wrong is when you know that there are others out there and you want to try and change how someone is. When I'm talking about, I see a disconnect between, especially black men and women. I hear men saying negative things about the women. They only want this, they only want that. And then I hear women complaining about their pickings. But my thing is, if you're dating and that's what you are attracting, I think the change begins in the mirror. And that is a hard pill for a lot of people to
It's a
swallow.
very bitter pill.
For most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what
So-
did we talk about? Chris and I had a long pre-call earlier today where we touched on myriad
I got to
topics.
keep a prep for the show.
No, but we talked about how, you'll hear a lot of single people identify their belief that they'll say, oh, married people are miserable, and
She's talking about what I...
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
yeah.
I'll find it, folks.
And my point is that, single people
Are miserable.
can be pretty miserable.
Right.
But the difference is when you're single, you're only dealing with yourself, and you're not dealing with anybody feeding you back to you. Mm-hmm. And so that
You have
can
no one to
be
blame it on.
pretty rough
Yeah.
sometimes if you're with somebody and they're like, let me tell you about yourself. When you're single, you don't have that. You're like, I'm
Right.
just happy by myself.
That's right.
No one, I'm perfect. And
Yeah.
this is all it's going to take to,
Yeah, and the reason I can't find anybody, that's not on me.
this is all about
That's
them,
out there.
But
right?
that-
You're in
this
an
is-
echo chamber.
We're in a day and age of online plays a big role, especially in young people, on what they think they should have and what they think they should be.
Oh, that's a whole different.
I mean, if you listen to, you can learn a lot through art, right? So if you listen to today's hip hop music, and if all the young folks are hearing is, I want to be rich, I want to not even sell drugs anymore, do drugs, and I want a bad B or a white B on my side. That's it. And if you look at women who are in hip hop or that art, you'll see a lot of showing my body as if that's how I get what I want because I have
Show
this
my
butt.
body, but I'm a bad bitch.
Right.
Like one of those, like, I make my own money and I'm sure
Right.
I'm doing everything.
So then
Still
you-
look at my titty.
Right.
So then you go get people who go out and do all this superficial crazy stuff. Guys start selling dope, whatever they got to do to get some cash, right? Or these look like they have it. You get girls making, I call it makeup sorcery. You see that? Where they really don't look like.
Oh,
what they
you've
are.
seen those videos where you start off
And
with
then,
like
and then they're upset because they can't
a
attract.
tree frog.
They can't.
Ends up being
but, then,
fine.
but then they're upset because they can't attract a Brian Foster, right? And I'm thinking to myself,
He don't like me for
he
me.
don't like that hood
He
ass
doesn't know
shit.
you.
He don't like your loud. You still loud as fuck.
You were a tree frog 10 minutes ago
Right.
before you put all that foundation on your face.
And the way a lot of
I'm gonna get you sucking me. Ain't
Right,
this a bitch?
it amazes me. It amazes me the way, amount of, and I hate to jump, ladies. I jumped on the men,
probably
so
what
y'all gonna have to deal with it. I hate it when I see even a nice looking woman, but she's so loud and ghetto and wonder why doesn't this man who makes 6 figures want me? I'm like, you a headache. You see, you a headache a mile away. But if you try to advise somebody, they get mad at men and women these days. If you ask anyone to look in the mirror, they will go nuts on you.
Oh, absolutely.
It can't be me.
It's not.
I
me.
was born perfect.
It's not me.
I'm sorry.
If all you attracted are bum ass bitches and niggas,
You're a
But you need
bum-ass
to figure
bitch.
out what that's about.
you the common denominator.
You're a bum
not
ass.
them.
Yeah. All these, yeah.
Yeah, because I want to bring us back though. We
Right.
talked a lot about what makes people not desirable.
Sure.
What
But
makes
the
it desirable?
topic was how do you know
Absolutely.
you got the one?
Glad you said that.
I am too. Let's turn it around.
All right.
Because Chris got a list.
I got at least 6 or 7 things, and no.
He always has a
order.
list. I love a list.
I'm gonna start off with, and so we're gonna take this from the idea like you got several balls in the air, you're trying to see which one's the one. So from one we mentioned, and I think this is one of the most important ones: conflict resolutions. Right? When you disagree, are your arguments or disagreements civil? Understanding that more serious matters, voices may get raised, but more times than not, World War III is not going to break out because she wants to eat Italian food tonight and you want to eat Mexican food. But you have people out here that no matter what it is, they're going to blow up. And so if you can resolve conflict peacefully, that is one of the pillars that I think letting you, and then notice I did, in any of these you see, I'm not going to talk about looks, money, or none of that. Or maybe a little.
How about, yeah, I knew it was going to come. But you know, you have to,
Maybe.
you have to be the place where the person goes for peace.
Right, absolutely.
So that does not mean I ain't causing no trouble. You know what I mean? You don't have to like be a wallflower or not. But ultimately, you can express yourself and say, you know,
Right.
I'm not really down with this. But ultimately, this is your
safe haven.
safe place,
Yeah.
Right.
right? Don't make home a bad place to come back to because then eventually
Why would they come
they
back?
won't return.
Right. And it's the way that you do it. You mentioned it earlier. I had a similar conversation when I was pre-marriage. I got married late. 8th degree player, top 1% worldwide. Chris Levy asked about him. But I got sort of caught out there. And to the point, Mrs. Critic was like, look, I got brothers. I get it. I've done this. I get it. I'm just not in that space right now. And it wasn't threatening. It wasn't yelling. It was Jedi.
Like,
hold
oh,
on. It was Jedi mind trick-ish. To the point where I'm like, yeah, girl. Yeah, I know. I know. It's me, not you. I'm sorry. I get it. And I made 3 of those calls, right? Because, I don't know. I can only speak to men. We don't like the dead animal in the road. We want to hunt it down. You know what I'm saying? We sort of want something that's harder to get. So if you're out flaunting everything in front of everybody, always out, that's the type of guy you're going to attract. And some men may want to marry that, but ideally,
Won't be healthy.
Right. The healthier relationships don't lend themselves to that. Again, serious matters. Oh, that's another thing. If there's a serious matter, you are able to empathize. You are able to see the other person's point of view and value it as much as your own. Somebody who really cares about you is not always going to say, I. They're going to think, what's best for us? right? They don't necessarily want to be right. They want the team to win.
Exactly.
Y'all
You have
write
to
that
be
down.
playing on the team.
Like Jake's. Y'all write that down.
Write that down.
Y'all write that down.
And to piggyback off that for a hot second, Chris, to reemphasize that, you can say that we a lot when we're together, right? But we're talking about how you know you're the one, right? Right now, my finances aren't your finances.
Correct.
Some of my moves aren't your moves.
Right.
But if they say, babe, are you thinking about this? Or they're a part, they're on the team, but they're just like the coach because they can't really control what you do.
Right.
Like, you're only putting $50 a month in your 401k. Babe, you might want to da-da-da-da, right?
That's why I got the right guess. Look what he's talking about.
And future together.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's why I had the right guess.
Building you up. So
Right.
there is a together for
Right.
later, right?
And if they're not already doing that, you see the aptitude for
Yeah.
that,
Right.
right? Like, they ain't going to be in your business like with your
Like
friend,
that, but just
but
you might want to think
see
about
where they have
Right.
something to offer in a
Right.
way that is not condemning or judging.
You are each other's what I call priority.
Right.
And the reason they're taking an interest because they want to build with you. So, fellas, if a lady is saying that to you, she is saying, I see this going further. And ladies, conversely, if a man is saying that to you, he wants to go further. But if they're not saying that, then that you cancel them out. Because I have been in a position where I was like, man, and then we're risk averse. We don't want to tell somebody this is it, right? Just like Brian, I had gone to, everybody's getting married, early 20s, whatever. But I was dating the girl first. You can only go to so many weddings before they start looking at you like for real? How many weddings
So
we gonna
what's
go
up?
to? In my eyes.
Right.
For real? How many we gonna go
Cross-eyed.
to?
I was there when Chuck met Tasha.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So,
You know?
man, so if you see a person planning, and I say that, I got 3 daughters, and I always say, especially early on, I'm a traditionalist, that man better be planning that date. If you got a guy calling you up, especially if you just slept with him already, yeah, what you on? Well, yeah, what's up? I don't know. What you doing tonight? I don't know. You might as well ball that up, throw it away, or just stay in your lane with his being his booty call or whatever. And conversely, it's true. I mean, you have to be each other's priority. Again, these are no random orders. I think that was my second one, though. What you said, one of my 3 top ones. Another top one I have is you can be yourself. So,
Yes.
even though you
That's my
spend a
big
lot
one.
of time early on, if ladies, if you want to go out somewhere with your girls, a man who cares about your happiness, especially early on, shouldn't be jealous of anything, right? If both people been doing their part. Now, if he's sweating you over that early, there's an issue. I'm not saying it's not the one, but it needs to be addressed. Conversely, ladies, if that is the one, you're going to have to trust that he can go out and do him and not disrespect you and respect the relationship and come home. If you have that feeling that you can be yourself and he can be himself and both of you are comfortable, that's a sign that somebody is possibly the one.
Trust.
There's a mutual respect on that. And a lot of times when I see even just the 3 things we mentioned, when you hear about people, I went out on this date, this, that, and the other, men this and women that, they're not even here. So that you shouldn't be mad. You should be thankful that they showed you earlier so you can move on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your best thing that you have, especially when I say when you post 25, because we always think we're younger than what we are, right? I thought I was going to be very
Age
young.
dysmorphia.
It didn't happen. I blinked. I was
Right.
35. You know what I'm saying? It
happened
goes
here?
by quick.
It does.
It really does.
Phil makes a good point up here. I have to
Yeah,
call out a comment.
I noticed that.
I'm looking at a comment.
Yeah.
So his
He's a smart
point
guy.
is don't give out the title girlfriend and fiance is next to the list. Just don't commit at all. And Kieran Allen's like, huh? Point being, I totally feel Phil on this. Like, if there's no chance that this person can move to the next level, don't even start that shit. Like, don't even give him the girlfriend title or the boyfriend title.
That
Or
was Jedi.
benefits.
That was Jedi level,
Well,
by the way.
they want benefits.
No.
Oh,
No.
you
You
mean-
get benefits, not the
Oh.
girlfend boyfriend benefits.
Yeah.
Because there's certain
Oh
levels
yeah,
of benefits
you
that
can't
come with those
spend
titles.
boyfriend time with
Yeah,
someone who's never going
that's
to be a
right.
boyfriend.
That was Jedi level
Absolutely
a lot of people will say whatever, men and women, and I'm like,
they don't want the
that's gonna
pressure.
come back to get you. Eventually, no matter what you say, will come back to get you.
That's right.
If enough time goes by, and that and the opposite sex wants to be with you
Yeah.
more than you want to be with them. Eventually, it will catch up, but you can buy yourself some time.
And I've known
By being
people
honest.
who they just refuse to give that title for years, and I don't understand why the women, and it's usually the women, I don't understand why the women are like, one day.
Could you not
he's
disrespect the
gonna
women
call
watching the Kris
me
the Critic
his
show, please?
girlfriend.
I'm just playing.
Like, who are
I
you?
just love saying that to women.
Like-
I just don't love messing around. I'm just playing.
Trying to get me to get
It was the
Like
apple
a
juice.
little Kevin
No.
Samuel shit.
Hey, get off the news.
Yeah, okay.
Invite Alpha on the show.
But
you see
no,
that?
but I mean, there are women who will just sit around and wait for that. And I always, I say this all the time, you know what I'm going to say? Men will tell you who you are to them if you just listen.
Oh, they'll show you.
They will tell you, and they will show you, but they will also tell you.
tell you.
I
Right.
have never, I don't have to knock wood because it won't happen. Never had to have the where are we going conversations. I will cut bait. Like, I'm like, this is not going the way I needed to go, so bye-bye.
But it's harder for some people to cut bait. I mean, you are, for me, you are very successful. You speak well. That's why I got you on the show initially. I didn't even know if you were
You
going to be
speak so well.
speak-
I didn't
so
even
well.
know if you was going to be this good. She spoke good.
speak so well.
You look nice. It's probably easier for you to be approached. But a lot of people don't have that advantage. And I understand why they feel so... I mean, I've been in...
But they don't
been
know they
rare.
don't have the advantage.
Hold
is the
on, hold
point.
on. It's been rare, but I've been in an advantage where I was sort of, out of my league or really wanted that to happen, right? And it didn't. So I was sort of mad, more so at that person, to thinking, was I trying to fit, a square piece into a round hole?
Right.
Sometimes we do that, so I get it,
Yeah, I mean, listen, it doesn't. I don't think the people who don't. Anyway, we can
Yeah,
talk about it later. Go
the
ahead,
next one
finish the
is
list.
values, right? How do you know if it's the one? So we talked about 3 things so far. We spent a lot of time talking about how do you know they're not the one and issues and all of that. Now we're talking about things if you know there's the one. We talked about conflict resolutions. We talked about being the other's priority, and we talked about being yourself, right? Another one is values. I don't care how nice he looks. If you are a devout, I go to church even once, twice a month, and he is an atheist who speaks against religion, I'm not saying it can't work. It's just going to take
It's gonna be
lot.
a hard climb.
It's just going to take a lot of extra work and understanding.
Yeah.
So you all need to have some sort of values. I don't even think what somebody believes in. Maybe he had a horrible experience with discipline when he was younger. He's all for letting kids be free and do all this, and you're not. Those are things that need to come up
Early.
How you value finances.
Early.
Right.
Real early.
And we went through. Mrs. Critic, if she's watching, she'll text me. Like, well, you mentioned her personal stuff.
She's watching.
She doesn't have a list, but by the way.
I was about to say, I was like, why you make that woman
I
sound
don't know
like
why I did that. But we went through, you have to go through this financial, all this stuff. And she's like, wow, for what you make, I thought you had more saved. And I'm like, spend on these fucking dinners, right?
Spend on all these hoes.
These hoes ain't cheap.
Those ain't cheap.
I'm a female, not a free
I
male.
was like, man, for what you make, you got a lot saved. Shit, I should have got married sooner. But point is, you should have an understanding. It shouldn't be a surprise. How many times, even in the dating realm, you see people, they've spent a year or 2 with a person, and all of a sudden they want to go to, I don't know, Dubai. Well, he can't afford to take me to Dubai. Well, we can't
never
get this
could.
car.
Yeah.
He couldn't initially.
Right.
But
Yeah, why
you
you
didn't take
surprised
the
now?
time to find
Wow.
out. But you looked past what was real, and you said, well, he looked the part, and he was 6'3",
Okay. No.
and he laid it down.
See,
Right?
the only pushback I'll give you on that is that what you hope is that there's growth. Right? You hope that the
I don't
person
teach
isn't
my daughters
making
that. I don't teach that.
$50,000 for the rest of his life. What you
That's-
hope is that there's some escalation
I don't
and
teach
personal
that in
growth.
the Levy household. It's called potential energy, kinetic energy. It's already got to be flowing.
Okay, but
Maybe if he's in med school and pilot school or lawyer school or whatever.
when you
school,
meet someone young, it's like people aren't
if
really
one of my
like,
daughters came and said, no disrespect to any hip hop artists or aspiring hip hop artists.
I'm a rapper.
I met a
No,
rapper.
you're not.
I know
No,
he has
everybody
no-
here too old to be talking about they a damn
But I'm
rapper.
saying, if this
No,
is
his
one of
daughter.
my
No, I'm
kids-
just saying, anybody watching, I'm
Oh
sure
yeah,
they
even
too
but I'm
old.
saying, one of my
Something
daughters
like
came to me. He's like, I'm dating this guy. He's got this up and coming Persian rap career. He's gonna be this. He's got in 3 days. He's already got 500 followers. I'm like, nah, fuck that.
Nah,
That's
baby.
not working.
Nah,
I'm sorry.
Nah, baby.
I hope I'm wrong.
I guess my question then
Don't
would be,
give
what's the alternate plan? How long is he giving himself for this? Because I don't want to crush anybody's artistic, because it happens, right?
Yeah,
He's
straighten
got
all
2
that shit out, then we
years,
get back
and
together.
what's the other plan? But I wouldn't suggest my daughter date any artist.
I would tell my
promoter,
daughter something like this.
DJ.
The odds.
Look, I'm like, all the things that I live with.
I would tell my daughter this, right? Because there's some smart kids.
Half the things I am.
You know.
You tell your daughter or son something like this, and I'm going to make these numbers up. The odds of making the NBA for a person who plays basketball in grade school or high school are less than getting struck by lightning for all the players across the country. The odds of someone making it in music are probably worse. So, if you think
Lakita got
that you might walk down the street and
AB.
get struck by lightning,
Lakita.
then maybe he has a chance. But the odds are against you.
Right up,
See, this
right
is
above
why
Karen. There you
I
go.
say
think that's a great
I love a success story, but I hate a success story.
But that's the
You know what I'm
exception.
saying?
The
I see
success,
exactly
the
what you're
success
saying.
story is the exception.
That's my point.
And if I'm a
like,
parent,
if
I'm a parent, I'm not going by
Yeah.
the exception.
That's what
I'm
the
going by the
success
rule.
story makes
Yeah.
people
That's
think.
my job.
That could be me.
It's in the dad-
Probably it won't.
But it probably isn't.
Right.
It's in the dad handbook.
Just take
But you
tell
got to
the
give
story
them
and
the
keep
best
moving.
chance to success.
You know, real talk.
Can you put me a little apple juice?
Would you like some apple juice?
Just
Okay.
a little bit.
Here you go.
Um,
I need some too.
I didn't want to kill anybody's
No,
dream. Now I
that's,
feel
no,
bad.
that's a great list.
I feel
Chris.
bad for killing. I
No,
feel
no,
bad
no,
for
that's
killing
awesome.
somebody.
That's an awesome list.
You're helping people be
That's an
be
awesome
good
list.
partners. Like you gotta like that's.
It-
You know.
Oh, you brought this up earlier. That's right. He hit a couple of the final notes, and which is good. This person is on the ropes. The old baggage that they have is in the past. It's still old baggage, right? A lot of us.
Unless it crops up.
Well, a lot of us. I've been out prior to being married on dates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sitting across, I've spent whatever monies I had to make that place seem special.
Uh-huh.
And I'm trying to be funny. She may have even laughed at some of my dumb jokes. But if she's feeling me, but she has baggage, I've gotten the last dude. I'm not gonna go through this. It just comes right at me because I get what she's trying to do. She's trying to say I'm not standing for this BS no more, and it seems cool now, but this, that, and the other. But I'm here to tell you. What do I always say? Be a what?
Kitten,
Be a kitten.
not a cat.
Not a cat. A kitten is friendly and acts like a puppy. An old mean ass cat rubs on you when they want to.
They're very specific.
Men do
Wait,
not
I've
like
never heard
grown-
that one.
Because
Men,
he says it every single time.
men like
I don't know
men
either.
like kittens. If you act men, this is what men like on a date because we simple. You're laughing at my jokes. I say something, you laughing. You want whatever you order for me. It's just all free and fun, and that is why some men might date younger because they don't have all this built up ass negative energy coming out. Now, that might be your agenda to get that across, but you just don't do it like that. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a little more. I'm just saying nobody wants old baggage. Nobody wants to be out with you and your phone's blowing up because your ex or your kid's father is blowing you up saying, well, you know I got to come by and pick up my stuff, and then you got to explain to me that he might be there. Maybe we should go somewhere else.
Some people derive ego from that, though. Like, you
No,
gotta-
but in terms of finding
Pick up
Mr. or
his
Mrs.
stuff.
Right,
yeah, this stuff shouldn't be there.
but, well, you know,
I would have said
Wait,
this shit
guys,
was
this
fire.
motherfucker
leave.
listen.
Yesterday?
Yesterday?
You get people saying, well, I
would
dropped
say
the
the day
baby.
before yesterday.
I left the baby off, but I left my work ID over there. I'm
You know,
telling you
no.
things.
No.
People do
That should be on the gate.
Look, on fire.
everything you do.
You got that little clip. That should
but
be
then,
great.
yeah, how many times you get a guy saying, who you got around my kid? Even though the kid is in the back room asleep. You know what I'm saying? Or grannies. You
Well,
know,
he's not trying to be around the kid, but he's worried about who you got around the kid.
Right. He ain't been around the kid in 3 months.
Right,
But
yeah,
who you
yeah.
got around the kid?
Hey, we
I
gonna
pay
stop
for
that.
my baby.
Hey, trust me, homie. I ain't trying
We
to
gonna
be
stop
around your
being
kid.
bashing
either.
because who raised these men?
Your
No,
baby
I'm saying,
is
I always
that
go there.
right?
I said every time I bash men, I was like, who raised these
I guess
men?
that's just how they
Hey, but for real,
raised.
fellas, I do want to say this. If to knowing who's the one, right? Like, if you got Italian Fiesta boxes stacked in your fridge and she ain't really questioning it, that motherfucker don't really care about you.
Yeah.
I'm just
We're
saying.
talking about the basket. We're talking about the basket.
What was that?
The grocery store. Like, look at the basket.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you gotta look at the basket.
Well, I was with one of my daughters earlier, and it was this guy was older. He was a little younger than me, slightly. He might have been 30s. whatever. But he had like it was in a cart. He was in front of us. It wasn't a lot, but he had a bunch, like at least 4 frozen pizzas, right? He had some pancake mix, some cereal, but there was 0 produce.
That's right.
In that bag. There was
fruits
one
and
apple,
vegetables.
one
No
grape,
veg.
one vegetable, one carrot. And I was joking with, I was like, you see that right there? That man is single. I was like, he does not, I don't even know if he dates.
Right.
Because if he dates, he's dating a low quality woman because he's not cooking for anybody. And I'm setting her up because if you do go by somebody else, you come to go for a date at his house, that shit better be special. It better not be no damn pizza. You wasn't raised like that. So anyway,
We throw a Connie's in the
there
oven.
was there's a method to the madness.
I went to my cousin. Just a really short story. I went to my cousin's house.
What's your show coming up?
Oh, yeah,
next?
And,
wait a minute.
that's all right.
We gotta hurry up, Brian.
And- now,
After your story for this show,
encroach on my shit.
let folks know what you're talking about next.
Will do. So, went to real short. Went to my cousin's house, and he's one of them Italian Fiesta dudes. He had Italian
I love
Fiesta.
it.
I love it too.
I got 13 coupons right now. I keep track.
But you can't. You ain't got. I mean, like every day, this dude must have ordered. He had boxes of leftover Italian Fiesta, not wrapped up, not in
Is he slim like
Tupperware. He actually is, but
I need to know how he does that. But go ahead.
just the box,
Okay,
box,
yeah, I got
right?
you.
And I come over and we talking. I'm looking in the fridge for like a beer or whatever, and I mean literally the only thing in this fridge is Italian Fiesta box, literally, and beer. And this young lady comes over, whatever, who's been seeing him for a second, and I'm like, hey, why you got my cousin only eating Italian Fiesta? What's up with that? And she was like, "Can't fuck what he eat." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
well,
see there? Right
there it is."
Gotta
Right there, that's
go.
not-
Hey, cuz
Because I used to bust Lee out. Okay, so when I started dating my
I didn't say your
fiancé-
name. Mr.
That's
Farmer.
okay.
They already know
He
who
knows.
he is.
She
everybody.
did.
He's not a secret. So, but when I met him, there was this place that Lee is. He only eats fish and vegetables, right? So he was pretty good. He was good.
Already, yeah.
But there was this spot he used to go to, kind of near his house, where it would be some sort of veggie, like cheesesteak, kind of weird. Like I was like, yeah, that's not happening anymore.
But if
It's
you
like,
do
need
meet
to
a man-
abandon
If you meet a
whatever the
man,
fuck that is.
well, even though I'm
Whatever
not a
that
vegetarian,
is.
but if you meet a man who's a vegetarian, pescatarian, something like that,
Yeah.
I've only met, with 1 or 2 exceptions, fairly well-read, scholarly men.
Yeah. Yeah.
People
Right.
who sort of watch what they eat. I don't think that's a bad sign.
It's not, but I was like, but you know, when they go down that junk food bender, I was like, nah, babe. See, we gotta.
But you cared. is the
Higher
point.
quality junk
Yeah, but
food.
you cared.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I was like, yeah, we getting that ready.
For those who just joined us, this handsome gentleman to my right, your left, is Brian Foster. He also has one of my favorite shows called In the Zone. Tell them how to find the show, Brian, because he's coming on right
It's
after
coming up
this.
next.
We're coming on in all of 9 minutes. First of all, thank you guys for having me. It's always
That's
a
so much
pleasure
fun.
to be on the
That's
show.
cool.
In the Zone podcast, we talk about we're right here, same studio, 7:10 every Wednesday. We talk a little bit about everything. I mean,
Perfect.
sports, movies,
Tell
politics,
them what
TV,
the topic is
blah blah
tonight,
blah.
Brian.
Tonight we're gonna talk about why dudes are wearing these little bitty ass shorts. I don't know what the fuck this is about. So we're gonna talk about, do clothes make the man? How important is how a man grooms and dresses in success in life and love? That's what we on tonight. Me and my co-host Chantel. That's what we talking
His
about.
All right, that's a good one.
His co-host is great. I will say, inside, I want to do stuff like that, but I'm not yet. I got Gina B right here, so
I mean, listen, I don't mind because I have definite ideas.
Look, but for those who join the show, I
Opinions.
want to thank you for joining. We're gonna keep bringing the straight dope, no cut.
Karen, you hold on. You bring your ass over here back in 5 minutes. I'm gonna tell you what's wrong.
What's
with
wrong,
your
little
last
shorts? You know what? The little shorts were good in basketball. Like I miss those basketball shorts from like the early,
Look,
know.
I'll give you,
You know-
a
you know
I'll give
what
you
it
a
is?
5-inch inseam. When you start doing 3-inch inseams,
You know what it is? I will say this without saying names. She likes the small shorts on men. Kay Allen dates a Mendel Marnock man. He's very buffed out. So she's probably okay in your home. That's fine.
that's right.
But we don't want to see it in the streets.
And-
if I
and
see
your back-
him in the streets
That's
like
right.
that,
In your
I'm
backyard.
gonna talk garbage.
Yeah, no.
Driving by. 'Cause I don't want to be
honking the horn.
I'm
Right.
driving by, but I'm gonna
What you
talk
wearing?
garbage.
Yeah.
Hey, you can hate Mr. Parker all you want in your yard.
Right.
We don't want to see.
Haters.
That's right. We do not want to see him in Myers and that shit.
I want to say shout out to some of my grade school Falcons. Phil Strong, thanks for joining.
Feel strong. What up, boy?
Kendall Morgan, thanks for joining. Yo, Kay Allen, she didn't go to grade school, but that's my homie. And Nikki Turner, thank you again for giving us the dope topic. But look, we'll be back next week.
Khalid, I want to see you in some of these shorts.
Brian Foster's next. Do me a favor. Share this or share it next week. I do an announcement. Share the Kris the Critic show with Gina B. Soon we'll probably change the name to Kris and Gina. She's put in some work.
And by work, I mean money.
Some.
Trying to keep from paying her. But look, thanks again for joining us, everybody.
Thank you,
Kris the Critic,
Nikki.
Gina B, Brian Foster. We out of here like last year. Peace and love. See you next week.
See y'all in 5 minutes. Come on back.
Yeah, that's a dope show.